A warm welcome to all our viewers from around the world. This is Business Incorporated. Thank you for joining us. I am Bolaji Akinwale. Coming up on the program, oil market analysts project the prices will climb more than $15 by the end of 2016. FSH Merchant Bank expects modest growth in advanced economies, while emerging and developing economies may witness slower growth. And a local organization in Kaduna in northern Nigeria introduces an affordable and eco-friendly initiative, houses built using discarded plastic bottles. We will begin with the story that says that oil market analysts are projecting that prices will climb more than $15 by the end of this year. Now, according to them, New York crude will reach $46 a barrel during the fourth quarter, while Brent in London will trade at $48 in the same period. Goldman Sachs Group Incorporated says a global surplus that fueled oil's decline to a 12-year low will shift to deficits as U.S. shale output falls. Energy Information Administration, on its part, predicts U.S. production will drop by 620,000 barrels per day, or about 7% from the first quarter to the fourth. Meanwhile, the International Energy Agency forecasts total non-OPEC supply will fall by 600,000 barrels this year. Now, that may pave the way for a rebound as lower prices have stimulated global demand. And Yahoo is cutting 15% of its workforce as the company pursues what it calls an aggressive strategic plan to return to profitability. The job cuts will reduce the number of its employees to about 9,000 by the end of 2016. The announcement came as Yahoo reported a $4.3 billion loss for the year. In a statement, Chief Executive Marissa Mayer says this is a strong plan calling for bold shifts in products and in resources. The headcount reduction is the latest part of Ms. Mayer's attempt to turn around the troubled internet company, which is struggling to compete against the likes of Facebook and Google. Okay, we will be checking the European market in a moment. Just to let our viewers know that the EU Parliament in Strasbourg is in session, and Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to address the lawmakers who will be bringing you more details regarding how the markets in Europe are doing generally. Okay, moving on now, let's take a look at the FSH reports that we mentioned earlier on, which noted that declining commodity prices, the possibility of a gradual monetary tightening in the U.S., and the weak growth outlook for the Chinese economy are the major risks to the global growth outlook. Now, this is according to FSH Merchant Bank Limited. In its reports, recent report on the economic and financial market outlook, the bank expects modest growth in advanced economies, while emerging and developing economies may witness slower growth. It also expects more currency adjustment in some emerging and developing markets, particularly in commodity-dominated export economies. According to the report, the current low oil price provides a rare opportunity to lay a solid foundation to grow the non-oil sector of the Nigerian economy. We'll get back to this in a moment. Okay, let's get at the market in Europe. As we've been joined by Conrad Busin, the WTV Channels TV correspondent, as he is live from the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Good afternoon, Conrad.
Hi, Bulaji. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for coming on the program. Okay, let's take a look at how the market's doing in terms of a lot seems to be happening at this time. If you look at healthcare sector with AstraZeneca, which is on positive news over its cancer drug, and Syngenta share price, which is climbing on the $43 billion buyout deal with Chem China. Now, give us some perspectives on this, Conrad.
Well, let me start off with this large Swiss-Chinese takeover story. ChemChina bidding to buy the huge Swiss chemical company. It's an agrochemical company, Syngenta, for 43 billion US dollars. It's a huge deal. It's going to be the biggest foreign investment of a Chinese company ever. And it's very interesting to note here that last year, Syngenta fended off a takeover bid by the large conglomerate Monsanto, which at the time was worth 47 billion US dollars. Now, it looks like the poker game that the Syngenta executives played last year in this fended-off takeover bid for Monsanto didn't really pay out in the end for investors, now that Syngenta accepts a 43 billion US dollar offer. Of course, it's a very interesting story anyway, with ChemChina investing in this Swiss company so much money. Beforehand, ChemChina had bought a German company for about 1 billion US dollars. So it looks like there is a large Chinese company that really wants to become a large player in the world. AstraZeneca, you mentioned it, the news is very well received by the market that AstraZeneca managed to get the approbation of the European Food and Drug Authorities to introduce on the market the lung cancer drug called Tagrisso. AstraZeneca is very confident that this drug will contribute around about 3 billion American dollars to its sales. Analysts are a bit more reluctant. They say by the year 2020 it's likely that this drug will contribute 1 billion US dollars to the sales sheet of AstraZeneca. Still, of course, very good news, and very good news for many lung cancer patients worldwide. Another drug is on the horizon that might help them.
Good news indeed, Conrad. Now let's take a look at what is going on with the EU Parliament. Of course, the meeting is ongoing as we speak in Strasbourg, France, with Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari making a speech on terror, insecurity and the economy. How high on investors' agenda today is Strasbourg in view of the recent slew of positive Eurozone economic data?
Well, I have to say that the economic data we've been getting today and the economic data we've been getting from the beginning of the week is going a bit in the background at the moment. What's much more important and what's driving the markets, and probably also President Buhari's visit in the Strasbourg Parliament, and also he's going to visit other places in Europe as well, is the cheap oil, the plunge of the American sort of oil, WTI, per barrel yesterday. It plunged below $30 again. That was something that really caused concerns on the markets. It makes many investors speculate about a potential recession of the world's economy, and that's what weighed heavily on equity prices yesterday already, and already today here in Europe. The positive economic data from Europe, I want to mention it at least, even though it's not really impressing investors very much. We've been getting very positive news from the purchasing managers of the services sector in the Eurozone. Germany, France, Spain, all of these services sector are doing better.
Okay, but just before I let you go, Conrad, is the ongoing U.S. presidential race being watched closely at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange? Do the traders mix U.S. politics with the markets?
Yes, they do, absolutely. The American elections are a great topic for people on the markets to talk about, and not only in terms of entertainment. I mean, you know, Donald Trump and his statements he gave during the campaign sounded so strange that they sort of entertain people on the market, but they do make people also concerned. People I talked to here said that it's one thing to have a presidential candidate, Donald Trump, with his loose mouth. It would be something completely different to have a President Trump. That would be considered a catastrophe, because it would not only weigh on the reputation of American politics in the world, it would also cause concerns about populist movements rising in other places of the world, populist, xenophobic movements like they are expressed by Mr. Trump. Believe me, Bulaji, we have these movements here in Europe as well, and in Germany.
Okay, they need to be very careful then. Thank you, Conrad. Conrad Busen there, DWTV and Channel TV correspondent, reported live from the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. We'll go on a break. I will be right back.